She said because she's falling.
Okay, Philly, you asked for it. You wanted a new scheme. We got a new scheme. We got some new coaches. Some coaches we wanted to stay have left, but we have some new coaches in the building. So let's talk about tonight. Here we go. First off, let's hear what they're saying about the Philadelphia Eagles. Our old boy Acho.
I don't think enough people are worried about the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm going to be honest. They have a first-time offensive coordinator that's never called plays before in Sean Mannion. Dude's younger than me, younger than Shady. Acho, you sucked in the NFL. He did too. Sorry. First-time offensive coordinator in Sean Mannion ain't never called plays. On top of that, you lost the best coach on staff in Jeff Stoutland. Shout out to Vic Fangio and what he's done the last 2 years. Jeff Stoutland's done it for the last 12 years. So you lost him. I love going to the Super Bowl because I talked to N'Kobe Dean. Rap with linebacker, starting linebacker N'Kobe Dean. He was like, look, I'm a free agent, so we going to see what's up. N'Kobe Dean was the best linebacker on the Philadelphia Eagles this year. He just was. Shout out to Zach Bond. Zach Bond was an all-pro player, and Zach Bond was a really good player this year. But when N'Kobe Dean was out there, albeit he got hurt, dealt with a hamstring injury, had the knee injuries. When N'Kobe Dean was out there, he was a game changer. Go back and watch every time N'Kobe Dean blitzed. He made the offense pay. I saw Smitty at the Super Bowl. Dapped it up, chopped it up with him. I don't think – oh, and I saw Jalen Hurts. Saw Jalen at the Super Bowl, sitting in a corner by himself with sunglasses on his phone. Read nothing into that, or read everything into that. Yeah. Like, you at a party with your peers. Why you dolo? I say that to say chemistry issues, I'm not sure that the Eagles have fixed that. Play calling issues, how do we know that the Eagles have fixed that? Personnel issues, if Landon Dickerson is gone, the Eagles haven't fixed that. So personnel, play calling, and chemistry, all of those things are questioned.
How about our quarterback? How about our quarterback? Your quarterback. He's a stud. He is a stud. I knew he was going to play that way. I knew it. Don't doubt him. All he does
I'm
is
Bird
win.
Gang 31 and I'm fly like an eagle. Hit him low, hit him high like the Eagles. Catch me on a podcast and we only talking Eagles. Dallas still sucks and ain't nothing like the Eagles. I'm one O-line, Jalen Hurts top 5. Run it like Saquon, like I'm down Queen. Always open AJ, touchdown, say. Strap him up like the Jean, sack him up, Zach Bond. On the road to victory, yeah. We gon' watch our Eagles fly. Hit him low, hit him high. Hit him low, hit him low, hit him high. We gon' let him hit him low, we gon' let him hit him high. We gon' let him hit him low, we gon' let him hit him high. We gon' let him hit him low, we gon' let him hit him high. We gon' let him. Bird Gang 31 is a host, man. Bringing Eagles to your door like the postman. Make some noise if you a real Birds fan. Make some noise if you a real Hurts fan. Yeah.
Hey.
What is up? What is up, Eagles Nation? I'm your boy BG31 in the building. How's everybody doing today? I had to go find my brother from another mother, Mr. One Trizzle Trey Rock. How you doing today, my guy?
First of all, I want to say I'm feeling the intro, man. I'm feeling the intro. That was dope. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was dope. I'm good, man. I'm good, BG. You already know. Like, look, every time we link up is a movie. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, my guy. So, you watched the Super Bowl. What you think about the Super Bowl?
It was low tier to me, man. I'm not even gonna lie. When I seen it like on the card, I was like, the pictures in Seattle. Seattle, in my opinion, they've been the best team wire to wire. They have full complementary offensive line, defensive line, running backs. Jackson Smith and Jigma had a Hall of Fame caliber season. They had Cooper Kupp. He'd have been in his dance all the time. Kenneth Walker, he's been one of my favorite running backs since he came into the NFL. So Seattle was full complement. They looked like the Eagles, honestly. They had everything. There was no way they can lose this game. And what played out. Like what we thought was going to happen happened. So yeah, no, I feel like the Super Bowl was terrible. It was terrible, and no, honestly, it was terrible, and I wish it would have been a little bit better. Honestly, I wasn't really too interested in it. So yeah, no, it was terrible in my opinion.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. It was a Super Bowl. Like you said, everybody knew who was going to win. I knew who was going to win. I made a video before the game, let everybody know that, Seattle's going to win, Not only did this Patriots 0-1 from last time when Russell Wilson threw the damn ball on the 1 yard line when you got beast mode over there, but at the end of the day, what I'm saying, Seattle was just a better team, more experienced quarterback. Shout out to the USC Trojans in the house. Two of my guys got their chip, baby, got their ring. Sam Darnold got his ring, and then a big cat over there on that defensive line got his ring, man. So shout out to that. And we got some former Eagles over there too. Shout out to those guys, and that played in that Super Bowl. But yeah, it wasn't that great. But the defense, I just knew the defense was going to really get to Drake May. And I didn't think it was going to be a complete blowout. Well, I had 31-21, I think, for the game. I thought, maybe Stephon Diggs or would do a little something over there in the Super Bowl with Carly B there and whatnot, but none of that stuff happened. So it is what it is. Seattle's the champions for this year. Eagles coming back to get it next year for sure. So far this offseason, how you like it? Starting with the fire and KP. But before we get into these coaching staff, I found out today, where is it? Where is it? Is this it? No. Right here. Today, some breaking news, and it was that from on the road to victory. Shout out to you, Jimmy, over there. He posted this. He said, Eagles will retain running backs coach and assistant head coach, Jamal Singleton, and receiver coach Aaron Moorhead. The other coaches reinstated with unknown new roles include Scott Leffler, Park Frazier, Greg Austin, Eric Dickerson, Montgomery LaGorder, whatever his name. But I noticed he said, and Kevin Patullo. Kevin Patullo did not go nowhere. He's about to get a new role. What is that telling you right there? What does that tell you that all those offensive guys are staying with this new regime? Is it saying anything at all? Is it still going to be new scheme? Or is it Nick Sirianni trying to keep his foot inside the pool right there? You know what I'm saying? Trying to keep his foot inside the pool and try to keep his offensive scheme, relevant.
No, in my opinion, when they fired Kevin Patullo from the offensive coordinator position, they kind of stated that he wasn't leaving the team. They just was kind of demoting him. So I'm not surprised about that. Sean Mannion, he's gonna bring his dudes in, his guys. You see our new offensive coordinator, the pass game coordinator. He gonna bring his guys in, but they didn't want to change the whole dynamic of the team. So yeah, no, it's respectable. Kevin Patullo was good at the position he played before he was the offensive coordinator. So I mean, I don't feel like there's no reason to really let him walk out the building or fire him or nothing like that. They just demoted him. They tried to do that to Stoutland. Stoutland went with it, and I mean he left. But I feel like it's good. I feel like he works well with Jalen Hurts. He works well with the offense, and they're gonna give him a position where he has a voice, but not as big as a voice as the offensive coordinator. So yeah, no, I don't feel like it's a bad idea. Keep him around. He know these guys. Sean Mannion's coming in now. He don't know nobody. So you got to keep dudes around that's like familiar with the guys, with the program, how everybody worked, how the situation works. So yeah, no, I don't feel like it's a bad idea.
Okay, yeah. And it seems like you're not the only one that thinks that's not a bad idea there. Listen what AJ Brown had to say about it.
As an offense, we just come back and just really watch the tape and just, like I said earlier, rediscover ourselves and go to work each and every day, being accountable and just taking one day at a time. We have great leaders in our locker room. I'm fortunate to be a part of that, especially on offense. And we do have a lot of talent, but talent gets us nowhere.
Facts.
So it's all about being detailed and being disciplined.
Is there excitement with some of the new coaches y'all got in?
Yeah. Of course, yeah. I'm always excited. Sometimes change is not a bad thing. I have the utmost respect for KP. He to me he did a tremendous job, and he has a great heart. But I'm excited for the season. I'm excited for what's to come. So
Nah, for sure. And get into this.
So AJ seemed like he on board this year. I don't know if it's just the end of the season, he got a time to chill out, you know what I'm saying, get his mental right. But it seemed like he's saying all the right things right there. Do you think that's just fool's gold, or is it AJ being serious, because he realized it's going to be a new offensive scheme that probably can get him the ball a little bit more?
Um, I don't feel like it's fool's gold because AJ Brown know he's gonna be here in Philly. There's no even if we unless how we can manipulate this thing to where he's not getting that big hit. AJ Brown's gonna be here. It's what 28 million ish if he he gets traded before the July 1st deadline, and then it's 40 million if he gets traded after it. So he knows he's gonna be here. He knows he's gonna be here. So I don't feel like it's fool's gold. I feel like he's cool with the new refreshing young dudes coming in, and he gonna work it out how he work it out. I don't feel like it's more. I don't feel like it's that. I don't feel like it's like fool's gold, like you just said. I feel like it's like, all right, it's fresh minds in here. We're gonna figure this out. AJ Brown, your top target, so they gonna get him the football. That's really all he care about is him getting the football. So it's like, all right, yeah, we're gonna see how this play out. Honestly,
Yeah, that is a possibility. That he just wants to see how it plays out. I'm just happy it's not negative first. It's kind of like positive, even though he was kind of positive last year with KP too. He gave KP some love there. Like it wasn't all his fault. People are starting to speculate, as he's saying, giving KP love, like he knows that it wasn't just KP's fault. And maybe he's saying it's a little bit of like quarterback's fault or a little bit of the Lions' fault, a little bit of something else besides it was just all KP.
no, I don't feel like it was all Kevin Patullo. It was a mix of everything. Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, offensive line being hurt. Saquon not running like he ran before. Bro, the NFL, and that's what I be trying to get people to understand. It's not basketball. It's not basketball. You can't just throw the ball to Tracy McGrady. You can't just throw the ball to KD and be like, all right, go ahead, go make something happen. John Morant, Tyrese Maxey. You can't just throw the ball to these dudes. It's 10 men on the field, 5 on both teams. Football, it's 11 on 11. A play can be destroyed if one person missed their block, missed their assignment, something like that. It's way harder to coach in football than it is with basketball. So everything gotta be clicking on all cylinders. Like so there's a lot of people to blame for this. You can blame your head coach. You can blame
Yeah,
Howie Roseman. You can blame Jeffrey Lurie. You can blame anybody. You can blame Stoutland. You can blame anybody because Stoutland was the run game coordinator. You can
yeah.
blame anybody. It's hard. It's hard in the NFL. You can't just place blame on one person. So everything got to be clicking. And if it's not going to look good, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Because a lot of big things, like you said, everything had a reason. I think the biggest reason was the offensive line being hurt. That's a huge thing right there. Um, Now you even hear that Landon Dickerson might not even come back. You know what I'm saying? He's considering retirement here. I think, how do you feel about that blow? Do you think that'd be a game changer, like something that's catastrophic for this offensive line? Or do you see the Eagles now with the new offensive line coach, new scheme, probably moving another direction? Because that's the big thing. Does these players fit? Does these, especially offensive linemen fit? We're used to big mauling offensive lines, right? People that just beat up other people, big people beat up little people type offensive lines. You look at some of these guys are gone. Jason Kelsey's gone. Brooks been gone. So Becton can come back. Now that the Chargers released him, but he's not here. You got Steen that's smaller now. You got Jurgies that not too big. You got Landon Dickerson. If he retires, you're gonna have to replace that side. So do you see this offensive line even move into the Eagles drafting more, athletic but less Marlin style linemen to help fit this scheme moving forward?
Um, in my opinion, no, because Sean Mannion is more of a West Coast style Shanahan offense. So you need those big guys, the maulers in the trenches. And with Landon Dickerson, he been even like college wise, he's been through a lot of injuries. So it's like it's I'm cool with him contemplating retirement because I'm down for any player protecting their physical and mental health. So I mean, he got his raise, all that, but I feel like it's more of a him getting healthy by the time the season comes because we did go through a grueling time where every year we was in the playoffs, mind you, Super Bowl, playoffs, Super Bowl, playoffs. Now he got time to rest his body up. I feel like by the time fall, spring camp roll around, all that, the training camp, all that, he's gonna be okay. He just need to get his surgeries out the way, his mental health, his healing out the way, and he gonna be back with the team. Him, Jurgens, they're gonna be back. Malata, they're gonna be back. Only asterisk I have is Lane because what else does Lane Johnson have to prove?
Yeah.
He been a Pro Bowler his whole career, All Pro his whole career. He got 2 Super Bowls. What else does he have to prove? If his
Yeah.
body break it down on him, I respect him for retiring. Landon Dickerson, he's what, 27? He got a 30, 40-year-old body. Like the dude been through two ACL tears, back injury, back surgery, hip surgery, ankle surgery. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, after a while, it get grueling. So I respect him. If he wanted to walk away, he gave us what he needed to give us. He gave us a Super Bowl. If he wanted to walk away, that'd be fine. And I trust Howie Roseman to get us what we need to get through this season. Even if Landon not here, I trust him. So I mean, I respect Lane. I respect Landon. Y'all I'm thinking about hanging it up. Y'all got nothing but respect for me. It's just like Stoutland. Y'all got nothing but respect for me. Y'all feel like hanging it up? That's cool.
Yeah, I get what you're saying with that, but I think they're saying like Lane probably most likely is going to give this guy a shot. But like you said with Landon, it's like this guy's been banged up since college. We've been blessed to have him for 5 years. He's been one of the best left guards in football for 5 years. When healthy. But like they were saying, even Jason Kelsey said at the beginning of last year, he couldn't even move. What I'm saying, he came back way too early. The Eagles should have played that smarter to the vest. And let him, maybe be on like IR the first 4 weeks before even playing him. But he wanted to get out there and go out there and play. And, he wasn't the same Landon Dickerson the whole year because of it. So, like I said, I think I could see him, like you say, he got a Super Bowl, he got, Pro Bowls, he got, accolades and whatnot. But if he wants to hang it up, I can see that being, the case just for his mental health, like you said, his physical health. If he wants kids and to be able to run around, play with them, he's gonna have to stop pretty soon here anyway, because there's too much damage on them legs. You don't get new legs. You buy new legs, but you ain't getting no new legs. So he might want to be considering that, especially Stoutland was such a big influence on these guys. And what you don't realize, that's shout out to Lane for even saying that, that he's gonna give the new guy a shot, giving whoever's the new guy a shot. But all these guys been their whole career with Stoutland. What I'm saying? Like learning from Stoutland, like his scheme, his way. And now you're going a whole new direction with it, with a whole new style offense, whole new style blocking scheme, you know. And maybe some of these guys, like maybe a Dickerson might not want to deal with it because, you got to realize that this new scheme having people pull, a lot more. You got to have, landing out there in open space a lot more, stretch block. So it's blocking a lot more. Maybe that'd be harder on his knees to the point where, maybe he won't be effective in it. And at the end of the day, we need a guy in there for sure that's going to be like, 100% moving and doing what we need him to do in this offensive line. So, do you think that's going to be a big deal come draft free agency? We got some guys on the line right now, that didn't get a chance last year with the scheme or whatnot. Maybe they fit in a lot more, that center. We had a couple of centers, did Hinton, and those tackles that we got, seeing maybe they can come in and do a lot better because it's a whole different scheme. We got, our offense ran best with a mauler run game type scheme. And I feel like now we're going to go more towards your conventional lineman that's like more athletic, getting, more in space, more pulling, more things like that going on.
Yeah, with me, offensive line, I don't feel like it's gonna be a problem this year. Even if you want to bring in Hinton at center and move Jurgens over to guard, Jurgens played great at guard. This is his rookie year. I mean, you want to keep Jurgens at center, move Hinton over to guard. Like we got a lot of tools in the toolbox right now, and we're not even accounting for free agency. We're not accounting for the draft. So I mean, Howie Roseman gonna get it right. The offensive line, our offensive line, this was one of the worst years our offensive line ever had.
Yeah.
So he gonna get it back right. And his bread and butter is the trenches. Defensive line, offensive line. So we're gonna get that back right. We got the skill players to get it done. I mean, I don't
So
know
do you
what
think it
Jerry.
was more? Do you think like this? Like, because the way Stout left, he was mad. He was a mad situation. That's not no, he didn't even say goodbye to the Eagles in his last little press conference thing. Not press conference, but clip that he put out there. He said goodbye to the fans. He said he was one of the fans, and that was it. He said, "Love you, Jeffrey." He said, "Love you, Howie." You hear that it ended on rocky terms. Is that too much disrespect by the Eagles to demote this guy who's probably your best coach on your staff? And should the Eagles have tried a little harder to keep this guy in the building? Because you talk about scheme, I hear people like, well, it's a different scheme. It's a scheme that he doesn't want to run. At the end of the day, he can run any scheme. He's been in the league long enough, to coach up any scheme. So it's like, was it the demotion from being the run game coordinator to just slap in the face type thing that he wasn't down with? Because you heard, the position was offered to him and he declined it.
In my opinion, he was a great offensive line coach. Run game coordinator, our run game struggled this year. And it could have been a lot of things,
Nina,
but our run game struggled this year. So I mean, him getting demoted, I think it was a move that had to happen because you got to think about it. The year before, we had the best run game in the NFL.
but he was a
Now,
part of that too.
now,
He was a part of that, and the line wasn't hurt.
I understand that, but Steen, like I'm not even gonna lie, Dallas Goddard, he had his best season this year, blocking and receiving. Steen, best season this year. Lane Johnson, when he was healthy, best season this year. Mailata played like trash. Lane Dickerson played like trash. And Jurgens played like trash. Honestly, that was our downfall. We cannot run left to save our life. Right? We was cool. We cannot run left to save our life. So um I'm not even gonna lie to you. Run game coordinator, that wasn't Jeff Stoutland's best asset. Offensive line coach, he's the GOAT, a dog.
Yeah. I see what you're saying with that. And I was one of the guys last year, like, hey, we're blaming this, we're blaming that person. We should be blaming, Stout a little bit about this. He is the run game coordinator. He is the offensive line coach. The offensive line is trash this year. And freaking, it was possibly the worst. I'm not saying that they're bad players per se individually, but it's probably the worst offensive line play we've seen in a long time in Philadelphia was this year due to injuries. So it was like, okay, well, if these guys are, 50%, why are you still playing them? When you could be putting some of these young cats in, and maybe somebody that's 100% that's going to give full effort might not know all the plays, but at least they're in there 100%, blocking because Saquon had the most behind the line of scrimmage tackles for on them this year than he ever did before, and it wasn't nice. It wasn't nice out there. It was just a lackluster offensive run game. It was pretty vanilla out there. And I think that, all that was like, I didn't think he needed to necessarily be demoted. If I was the Philadelphia Eagles, just like we wanted Stoutland back, I would have preferred to have him back too as well, because he's one of the best coaches. All you can do from here is downgrade. I know how I was like, well, Stalin did it for 12 years. And Vic did it for 2 years. Vic's been a good coach his whole damn career. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like he just did it for 2 years. 2 years it was the number one defense. Number one defense toward the end of the season last year. But he's always been a good defensive-minded coach, who has a huge coaching tree. So that was understandable. But like how we wanted him back, I feel like Stalin deserved the same respect. Maybe even not even took the title away. If you wanted to add some people in there, to put their opinions in on it, what I'm saying, to help push it, then maybe do it that way. But I would have think the Eagles would have came with a little bit more respect towards him. But it seems like they want a total revamp of this offense. They want completely different offense. They want some, completely different that's never been seen by Philadelphia. It's more the McVay, Shanahan, type Kubiak type offenses. And I think, we asked for it, Philadelphia. We asked for it. We wanted something new. We've been wanting something new since Nick's been in the game, and we got it now. You know what I'm saying? We got it. Now it's like you can't be 100% mad from what you see. You got to kind of accept it and wait and see because this is our new offensive line coach. Let's hear about him right now.
Breaking news, the Eagles have hired a new offensive line coach, former Vikings O-line coach Chris Cooper, hired by the Eagles per Zach Berman. It's not spelled like Cooper, like hanging with Mr. Cooper or Cooper Jean. It's Kuper. And because I'm not well-versed in former offensive line coaches, I'm not sure. But
let me give you a little something here. He was the fifth-round pick, 161st overall in the 2006 draft by the Denver Broncos. He played from 2006 to 2013. He's from Alaska.
The one thing I will say from the early reading up on this guy, he was not retained by the Vikings after this season.
Okay.
And this is from Eagles Wire. Minnesota ranked 32nd in pressure rate allowed in the interior 3 of the last 4 seasons, including under Cooper this past season.
So what could possibly go wrong with this hire?
I mean, you obviously had to go get that guy.
I mean, look, it was a lot of players that wasn't that great, and it was a lot of schemes that wasn't that great. Right, you never know. Like this
I feel
how I
like
feel. Go ahead.
I feel like with this line coach, right? I feel like he's coming in on kind of a bad rap. Like so many people kind of like jumping the gun, like he's not that good. But like he played good, but in terms of his coaching, wasn't that good. But you look at Minnesota last year; they were in the same boat we were. Offensive, they had 25 different lineups for offensive line, last year, in one season, like 25 different lineups, throughout the game, whatnot. That's a lot of different lineups. That's no consistency. You had star players out, quarterback changes, what I'm saying? Like receivers hurt coming in and out the lineup. So for him to be, the line coach there, I feel like, kind of like Stout this year. It's just one of those years. You know what I'm saying? Just one of them years where you really can't do nothing about it. You tried your hardest to replace them. Like people don't realize when you got lines like the Eagles, because I know they invested some money in alignment over there. I think their center, he got hurt for he had 3 concussions last year, and then you look at even like our team, like we invested so much money in this offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Like Lane got the bag. Dickerson got the bag. Mulata got the bag. Did we re-sign Jergy too? I think Jergy got the bag. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of money in your offensive line. That means your depth is probably not as deep as you probably would like it to be. You probably want some more better caliber. Toth came in, did his thing for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't too impressed with him. Steen, I've never been impressed with Steen, to be honest with you, since he's been on the team. Once you had his job taken away from him the first time, like whatever, what I'm saying? Like this guy's not it. So it's interesting what this guy can do with this line. Like I said, new scheme, maybe new players. And hopefully, he can go out there and do what he got to do. Like I'm not sold on nobody, but I'm not sold on him either. I'm gonna sit and wait and see. It's kind of good because we kind of could see what kind of schemes we're going to possibly be running. And we're gonna go from there and see what these guys. I do like to say that. I will say this about it though. So many different teams, right? We got coaches from different teams that are most of the time like Minnesota the year before last, what was a division leader, in their best record in NFL the year before last, you know what I'm saying? He was on that roster too, on that offensive line to see when everybody's healthy, what kind of offense, what kind of thing you're gonna do there. This Minion cat under LaFleur, both years, Packers made the Super Bowl the last 2 years, right? You know what I'm saying? I know he wasn't calling the plays, but he's behind, one of the best play callers as a head coach there is, and LaFleur, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to give him that benefit of the doubt. He played with a good team. He was productive. Malik Willis had a great season last year, under him. He was ready to play when Love was out. Love had some good seasons with him too as well. And I kind of did like the Packers scheme, the way they move and use all their receivers over there, and Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? That's why people are like, do we have enough receivers? We're going to get into the player side of this in a minute. But, you know what I'm saying, just the scheme wise, it was a really nice scheme. And then you get your pass game coordinator from Tampa Bay. What's the number one team the Eagles never really want to play in the playoffs the last couple of years? Tampa Bay. Why? Because they had our number. You know what I'm saying? Like, that guy wasn't a great offensive coordinator, but at the end of the day, in terms of scheming up plays, he knows how to get separation. And that's what we asked him for, rest and see plays to make it easy for Jalen Hurts, to make it even clearer for him. You know what I'm saying? Like formations, motions, all that good stuff. I feel like all that stuff that we've been craving for is about to come, to our offense, and we're gonna be like loving it because now they're gonna get you these star players on offense will get used correctly, and you will see them open, scheme to open, not just open because AJ's big and physical. He's gonna do that slap route on you and push you out the way and go get open. They're gonna be open just from the scheme, keeping them open. So it's gonna be different. It's gonna be nice. But here are some things about this new offense. We can go over here. Let's see here. Which one is this? Is this one? No. I gotta go all the way back up here. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. That's 4. I'm tripping. Sorry about that, guy. It did not upload in the right count, so we gotta go. We're gonna go to some things here. That's 2. Did one not download? Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. So motion goes from almost none to a core feature. Patilla barely use motion. Manual where you use it as a weapon. Expect 70 to 80% of the plays to have motion in it. Motion at the snap, Dolphin style. Motion that create leverage for AJ and Devontae. Motion to within the box for Saquon. Motion to give Hurts coverage tails. This alone makes the offense look faster, wider, and more modern. You know what I'm saying? So how do you feel about that first statement saying that's what we're going to be getting with this new offensive scheme?
When we won the Super Bowl, we was kind of like the top bottom team in motion. So I don't feel like it's that. It's more physicality. It's more you can use motion at times. It's just your man beating the man on the other side of the ball. So I'm cool with the motion. I didn't see San Francisco offense. I've seen Green Bay offense. They lose a lot of motion. So maybe they bringing that to the table a little bit more. But at the end of the day, big guys beat up little guys, and players beat players. So if we can't like my problem with Kevin Patullo was you didn't scheme up enough where you got your playmakers open, where they can make plays. It's like, all right, we running this, we running that. He wasn't a stack on top of stack top type play caller. Like we run this play and see how we run this play to see how they react to it. And then later on down the line, we stacking this play, we stacking that on top of. He wasn't a situational play caller type dude. He just looked on the play sheet and called plays. Man, he been a career backup. He done seen damn near every offense you can see. I feel like he's going to bring and a lot of dudes, and I talk to a lot of dudes, they think he's just going to be a West Coast offense type dude like Shanahan or something like that. But he done seen plenty of offense outside of Shanahan offense. He was a career backup. Man probably had like, I don't even think he had over 10 starts in his career. So um, he really was the coach outside of the coach when it came to quarterback wise stuff. So he done seen everything. Um, so he gonna bring a he's gonna probably throw that West Coast in there, but it's gonna be more of a like expanded type West Coast offense where you can go 5 man out, you can go motion, you can go power running. Like it's gonna be a multiverse offense, in my opinion. I don't know what this dude presenting, but it should be a multiverse offense because you've been seeing everything. You didn't live under a Shannon. You didn't land under McVay. You landed under all these dudes that's great offensive coordinators. So, but we're not coming in here just running no traditional West Coast. We gonna mix it up. We gonna run the motion in there. If we could get Dotson back because he's a free agent, like bro, he's going to be a bigger part of this offense. If we could get Goddard back, he's going to be a bigger part of this offense. Saquon Barkley going to go all like bro. The NFL is kind of like basketball, but it's not. Run plays to get your players open. Get the ball in AJ Brown hands, Devontae hands, Goddard hands, Saquon Barkley hands. It's not that. It shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, that.
I coach little league football, bro. So it's like, I know I'm gonna get this dude. I'm gonna get the ball in this younger hands because he's a playmaker. I'm gonna get the ball in this younger hands because he's a playmaker. No matter how we doing it, that's the main goal. Honestly.
Yeah. He said number two key thing to this season, these coordinators will be the play action becomes real identity again. Petula barely used any play action. Mannion isn't a McVay O'Connell guy. Play action is their bread and butter. Drifts, stripes, deep crossers, floods, bootlegs, play actions from a shotgun, and under center. This is the smoothness you loved in 2022. Basically saying we had Steichen in there. Let's see what else.
I agree. They saying drift streak, deep crosses. Like we ran that last year. It wasn't effective because it wasn't drilled.
Yeah.
I don't know. Patullo coaching.
He did all the hitch routes.
Yeah. It was terrible. It was terrible. That's not how we supposed to run this off. I ain't even gonna lie. We gotta open this thing up, BJ.
Yeah.
We gotta open it up, man. Like it's like, bro, we got the players to do it. Open it up.
Yeah, I always thought that too. When you had Cooper, you had Dawson didn't get the ball, Cooper didn't get the ball. The other little guy, there was another receiver we had on the roster didn't get the ball. I was like, come on, man. Like there should be no reason why you don't get all these guys the ball. Even both running backs have two running back sets where you got Tank and Saquon in there, run plays off of it, screen plays off of it, run pass plays off of it. Like really use your, weapons that you have for distractions and for big plays. So I agree with you, man. It was definitely not used correctly. Let's go to 3 here. 3 is RPO returns striking right.
Honestly, I feel like our offense should have been like that Rams offense with Marshall Faulk, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce.
Greatest show on turf.
I was like, no, it should have been greatest show on turf type offense. We got the dudes to do it. Jahan Dotson is a first or second wide receiver on any football team in the NFL besides the Eagles.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith is the number one on any football team besides the Eagles. AJ Brown's the number one, period. Dallas Goedert is one of the best tight ends in football. There's no way. If you're a smart offensive mind, you should be able to scheme this open for these dudes, bro. There's no way because you can't double team nobody. You cannot double team nobody. And still you got Saquon coming out the backfield. You cannot double team nobody. There's no way we should have struggled this hard on offense.
Facts. Some more benefits is, we can kind of shoot through these real fast. I'm going to kind of go through them real fast for you guys. RPO returns, Steichen vibes. Patola barely used the RPO. Mannion and Grizzard will bring them back. Glance, stick, bubbles, flat, orbit RPOs, counter RPOs, slants and flats. Hurts become more dangerous again because he gets easy throws. All right, I like that one. I like that one a lot. Let's go to 4. 4. 4. Shotgun will be the base, not under center. You know, we kind of push for the shotgun to be the base. I mean, we kind of push for under center to be the base. Well, shotgun will probably be the base again for Jalen Hurts, which he played. I don't know. The offense played a little good when they were under center because it wasn't so vanilla, but he also won a Super Bowl from shotgun. So I do think giving him more space to help him be able to see the field more would be a lot better. You know what I'm saying? So it says you saw under center in a Shrine Bowl because it's a simple. It was simple for an All-Star game. The real NFL offense would be 65% to 70% shotgun, 30 to 35% under center. Perfect modern balance. Okay. Okay. I like 1, 2. Let's go. 5. Receiver zone run game returns. Brings his run game Saquon was born for. You know, wide zone, mid zone, dual, counters, pinups. That was another thing, you know, split zone. That was another thing. We said it was too vanilla. Too vanilla. The run game was just too vanilla. It was doing the same plays over and over again. Hold on one second.
You can hear me?
Yeah, there you go. We're doing the same plays, you know, over and over again. You know, up the middle, Saquon, up the middle, Saquon, up the middle, Saquon. And that wasn't a good look for this run game. You know, I'm happy to see different varieties of the zone play. You know, I love seeing counter plays. You know, I want to see some more screens too this year. I think that would really help this running back situation.
I agree. We kind of shied away from the screen game. We shied away from a lot of stuff with this Petula offense. And like scheming wide receivers wide open. That's the biggest thing right there in my mind. Scheming them wide open. It's like, bro, how you can't get this amount abundance of talent open? How you can't do it? Seattle did it. They didn't have at least as much as nowhere near as much as talent as we had. They had to beat up Cooper Cup. Jackson Smith and Jigma did his thing, but they lost their starting tight end. It's like, bro, like there's no way you can't scheme these dudes open. There's no way if you're an offensive coordinator. So yeah, no, I agree with the scheming it open, mid, intermediate, mid. There's no way. There's no way you can't get Saquon Barkley, one of the best pass catchers out of the backfield, involved in the pass game. It's like I feel like Kevin Batullo, he tried to make it too simple where we got the offense to where we could run anything. We could run anything.
He says, Kevin Matula more avoided the middle. Mannion attacks it. In breaks, crossers, deep digs, strike concepts, play actions, overs. Hurts become a middle of the field thrower again. Do you think this will happen? Because we've been talking about Hurts throwing over the middle of the field for a while now. What do you think about this take?
Going over the middle of the field is more quarterback comfortable than offensive coordinator. So that might be a Jalen thing, honestly. I know we don't want to criticize Jalen, but that might be a Jalen thing. Like, he's not comfortable with throwing over the middle. So, I mean, you never know in that situation. Like, I didn't like the scheme at all that Petula was running, but you never know. You gotta adapt it with your quarterback, like, too. So, I mean, Jalen never been a big over the middle type thrower or nothing like that. So we gotta adjust to what our starting quarterback doing. So I mean, it could go hand in hand. I'm not blaming it on Jalen, but it could go hand in hand, honestly.
He said Jalen. I think Jalen's a problem. We don't really know that because I feel like you have to have the scheme to know if it's a problem or not. You know, I know people said you won't push the scheme, but I feel like I heard Howie and Larry talk about like either you're on board with the change or you're out the door. And I think that does not exclude Jalen Hurts. That don't exclude anybody on this team. You know what I'm saying? Either you're on board with this change, meaning Jalen Hurts, if you cannot throw over the middle, because that's what we're going to be focused on, you know, a lot more, then you won't be our quarterback moving forward, which, you know, is it fair? Not really. I think you should always cater to the quarterback. But who knows? Maybe you're able to cater to the quarter because the people don't realize like throwing in the middle of the field can help when you're doing play action. When you're bootlegging out. That can help you still attack the middle of the field. Just because you're attacking the middle of the field doesn't mean you have to be under center or like in the pocket to do it. So I think that can still help out. You can still help out Jalen Hurts in terms of throwing over the middle there. He said, please change the title because we don't need to hear anything about what Walmart OC and Walmart OC and KP. I know, but I was just, telling everybody earlier, I was just mad that they kept him. You know what I'm saying? That's what that part was about. Like he's still on the team, at some capacity, which I really feel like KP could have came back on the team to be like our red zone coordinator. Because the Eagles had great red zone this last year. No matter what anybody said, the red zone was hot. But that was the only thing hot about this offense. So I can see him coming back as the red zone coordinator. Here we go. Spacing. This new offense is going to provide spacing like Miami. This is a big philosophy shift. Wide splits, horizontal stretches, yards after a catch friendly and spacing, slot isolations, motion to create free release. This is the use the whole field identity you've been craving for. We've been asking to use the whole field, get the ball in the kid playmakers' hands all over the place. And I heard a good piece with Jamar Chase talking about Burrow. He's like, that's one thing about Burrow. Burrow will spread the ball around. And I think, some of the best offenses, you remember that year, Carson Wentz threw to he had 4,000 yards, but he threw to 5 receivers, 4 or 5 receivers to get the 4,000 yard, and spreading out to Smitty, Goddard, AJ, Saquon out of the backfield. That and even like you said, getting Dotson in, getting maybe a Cooper in, getting all these guys involved because the more guys involved in your passing offense, the more dangerous your offense can be. That's what I feel like KP didn't realize. A, he didn't know how to scheme his best offensive players into the game. But B is he didn't understand that if all these guys are catching the football, that makes your offense that much easier for you to call because everybody, you can't just, pin down one player and think that you got him. You can't just lock up AJ and Smitty and think it's over. You don't have to lock up everybody. That means you're going to have to have a deep secondary. That means you're going to have, a lot. You're going to have a little bit more talent on that defensive side of football to be able to compete with the Eagles. So I do like these new changes coming from moving forward. Let's see what's the next one they talk about. They talk about sequencing. This is another huge thing we said he didn't do. One thing about KP, I feel like even when he was in his bag, it was only for until the other team adjusted. He didn't know how to come back from an adjustment. He might adjust to their defense, start getting in his bag, but then when the defense adjusts again, he didn't have an answer for it. It's like he kept going straight down that play call sheet. He didn't know how to set things up for later in the game. He didn't know how to set things up, during the game. He didn't understand that concept, but kind of like he was just taking a paper, going down the paper. This is what I'm going to call blah, 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 blah. Okay, that one works good, but I'm going to keep going. You got to continue to go with what works, set up what works with other things. Even if that keeps you stuck on 5 plays in your playbook, if defense is not stopping it, continue to do it over and over and over and over again until they stop you. We're in the NFL. Stop me, and I'm gonna keep doing it until you stop me. It should be your mindset. If you're scoring touchdowns, scoring points on these plays, keep doing them. You got millions of different formations. You got millions of different, adjustments you can make from, like I said, splits, formations, motions, all that stuff. Where you can do the same play basically 5 different times in the NFL. So that's one thing I think Kevin Patullo fell short of. So Patullo offense felt random. Mannion's sequence would be like a real OC early throws, which we said that was another big thing about Baker Mayfield when we used to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield would always light us up. Remember, even when Tom Brady was with the Bucs, they'd light us up because they'd get the ball out of their hands so fast. The play was created for quick throws on the mark. No matter how good your defensive line is, if you're throwing the ball in 2 seconds, no one's going to be able to get to the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? That's keeping your quarterback healthy. That's keeping your quarterback upright. And if it is bot, then hey, some of those times Jalen can run the ball. You know, it's early rhythm throws, setting up plays, constraint plays, play actions off the run looks, RPOs, you know, off the same formations. This is what makes the offense feel smooth, and this is what I think Jalen Hurts really needs to elevate to that next level. You know, because people want to see him get better, but you can't get better with subpar play calling. Let me go ahead and run through the last couple of ones here so we can get back to this talk. Is a quarterback friendly reading manual is a former quarterback. He builds the offense from a quarterback's eye. You know, defines reads, half field reads, motion indicators, play action windows. You know, cleaner projections. Hurts will look more comfortable than he was in 2022. Now that would be awesome to see because he's pretty comfortable when he was almost the MVP there. What else we got on here? He says, yeah, formation varieties return. Patula predictable, Mannion is not. You know, condensed bunch formation, spread wide, stack release, 3-by-1, isolation, 2-by-2 spacing, motion shifts. This is a defense. This makes defense hesitate. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like even when he runs the ball, the defense hesitates because of his risk in the run game. And now you're going to have some of that effect in the pass game as well. So overall here it said, this is the part that matters. Smooth like 22, wide like Miami, structured like McVay, physical like Shanahan, explosive like Steichen, balanced like a modern NFL offense. This is the most complete system Hurts has ever been in. Now they're saying this as in like it is because it possibly can be. It hasn't happened yet. I can't fully put my stamp on. Okay, this is gonna be the most, you know, whatever that Jalen's ever been in because we ain't seen Jalen in it yet. But from what it's saying, I can see the vision where Jeffrey and Howard's going to go with this offense.
I mean, you only can see the vision when you see it. Honestly, I don't know what Sean Mannion about to present or anything like that. And you know what I always tell you, BG, like the real season don't start till like week 6s. Everybody trying to find their footing. You're gonna win a couple games, you're gonna lose a couple games within that little range, but you don't really hit your stride till like week 6, week 7, like week 7ish, week 8ish. So I mean, we're gonna have to go through the growing pains. Sean Mannion is 33 years old. He's a kid for real when it comes to this coaching stuff. So you can have a vision. That don't mean it's gonna work out. You can have a vision. Sean McVay had a vision and it worked out.
Yeah.
There was a lot of other coaches that came in young. They had a vision and it didn't work out. So we only could
Hell, Nick Sirianni had a vision and it didn't work out. You know, because we literally brought this man here to. We shouldn't even be talking about no offense coordinator right now. You know, 5 years in with Nick Sirianni, he was supposed to be the offensive guru, the offensive play caller that comes in here and makes this offense to something that we never seen before, and he failed at that dramatically.
Because he played wide receiver. Sean Mannion played quarterback. Y'all see the view from a different lens. A wide receiver and a quarterback see the view from a different lens. So it's like I'm trusting in Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni and Jeffrey Lurie. I'm trusting in these dudes to put a good dude in place. But at the end of the day, he's still gonna have his growing pains, and you know how Philadelphia works, BJ. Like they see one bad play, 2 bad plays, 3 bad plays stacked up. Now to do a terrible offensive coordinator. So I'm optimistic. I'm really optimistic, and I feel like the best offensive coordinators really are backup offensive coordinators. I mean, backup quarterbacks, backup offensive coordinators. Like I feel like they the best dudes because they seeing it from a different lens. Dudes out there playing on the field, but traditionally, backup quarterbacks are extra offensive coordinators. Honestly, what you seeing? What you seeing? What you seeing? Nick Foles for Carson Wentz. They back up offensive coordinators. They're seeing it from a different lens. They got them the tablets in their hands. They looking out on the field. So I feel like he has the potential to be a great offensive coordinator, but I'm also just sitting on the optimistic line because it's like I done seen a lot of dudes think they knew what they was doing. I done seen a lot of dudes been great football players and terrible coaches.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, terrible. He was terrible when it came to the owner, general manager type thing because you only seen it from your lens. It's like I know how to play this game. That don't mean you know how to coach it.
Facts.
So I don't know. Like I'm optimistic about it. Like if we put the right pieces in place, like AJ Brown back here, Devontae Smith back here. Well, Devontae gonna be here. Dallas Goddard back here. Like we put the right, even Dotson, and if not Dotson, Cooper. Cooper gonna be back here. Johnny Wilson coming off injury. Like look, if we got the right pieces in place, we probably can do it, BG. But it's like I'm still on the straddle and the optimistic line because I didn't see him. I didn't see the dude do it. I didn't see him call plays. Are you gonna be up top? Or are you gonna be sitting on the field? Because I feel like my best offensive coordinators were up top. Steichen, all them dudes, they was up top. They seen the whole layout of the field. You're gonna be sitting down on the field where these dudes could come to you, talk to you, disrespect you, whatever they need to do, or you're gonna be sitting up top where they can't communicate with you at all. It's like, bro, you gotta look at it from different type of lenses, and I'm just optimistic. Like, look, I'm ready for the season to start. Honestly,
Let's talk about this, in terms of players, because I do got we're going to talk about some free agents to see, who you think should come back, but first, when we talk about players at all, the big thing is, do you think the Eagles should keep A.J. Brown? I know they're saying he's sounding good. He seems like he's vibing, but over the last couple of years, he has been a huge distraction for this team, in terms of wanting the ball, even though I will say last year he was correct for what he was saying. But at the end of the day, you're the captain of this football team. You need to show it in a different route. You can't be pouting in the media. When you drop balls, like the playoff game, dropping all the balls, taking off in the stadium, like not talking to reporters, not having no answers then. But when you're not getting the ball, then you got all the, you stand for the media. You want to comment about that. What I'm saying? Either you're gonna do both or you're not gonna do neither. And I feel like as captains of this football team, when times are rough, you need to be one of the strong points on this football team to bounce back. So do you think that there's any consideration of A.J. Brown getting traded this offseason? Because I personally feel if the trade is right, go ahead and make it. Because I feel like Devontae Smith can be your number one in an offense like this, kind of like the Jackson Smith and Jigma. If you gave, just like we always say, if A.J. Brown wasn't on the team with Devontae Smith, A.J. numbers would be a lot better. You can say the same about Devontae Smith if A.J. Brown wasn't on this team. Everybody wants to talk about the rookie year when he only had 900 yards, but hey, that was the best receiver, rookie year for a receiver by the Eagles. A and B, he was still a rookie at that time. He's a polished vet right now, and he makes big plays. He's been making big plays ever since he's been here. So you give him more responsibility being that number one, and then you can re-sign a guy like Dotson, who's been begging basically for the ball. Every time Dotson last year even got a chance to get a ball, he made a play. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he's earned it. He is, like you said, first round pick. Another guy that could be a great number two on this team. And then you got guys like Cooper that can come in and be your slot receiver. You know what I'm saying? If he develops in this offseason, you got your big guy Wilson, who's also a great run blocking receiver. Do the Eagles even need A.J. Brown? That if the price was right, you can go ahead and get rid of him this year. Because like you said, it is a hit on the salary cap, but I think they said if it's after June 1st, we can actually save $7 million.
if it's at the June 1st, that's 40 mil. DJ. If it's at
One
the
of them is either after or before that they were saying that there's a way we can save $7 million this offseason.
it might be a way, but who you getting for 7 million?
But I mean, I
For
think
7
you had to
million
get a
like
receiver.
valuable.
I'm saying, like, do you think the receiving core, like, we all say Dawson shoot the ball right more, true or false?
True.
Okay, and when Cooper, we all seen the talent in him. He looked like the little baby AJ. Maybe he should get the ball a little bit more. And then you got Smitty who can handle the load of being your, key guy. I don't think Smitty 5 years in now or 4 years in now cannot be that guy. I think he's that guy now. You can't compare him to his rookie year of being a guy with, the lights of receivers like JJ Arcega Whiteside and Jalen Rager. You actually got if Jahan Dodson steps up, you got a good receiver number two, and you're gonna have a nice number three. Spread the ball around that might take less pressure off Jalen Hurts to get the ball to AJ. Because you see, when we start trying to get the ball to AJ, then there's a problem. You know what I'm saying? And who knows if Goddard comes back or not? Like I'm at a point where Goddard's kind of old now. He's been hurt a little bit. Last year he was healthy. He's sure enough in his, uh, contract year. He's healthy. He has the most, receiving touchdowns. His blocking was all right this year. It wasn't normal Goddard blocking, but he does got something left in him. But who knows? Maybe some team wants to freaking pay this guy some big money, and I don't think the Eagles can go out there and match it, even though we don't have any tight ends now. We might have to rethink about that position. So, or even you let him go and you get some good back, because I don't think AJ can go for anything less than a first round pick. I just no. We got rid of him for less than first round pick. You're on crack, and I don't think Howie works like that. I think Howie's smarter than that to know that AJ Brown will be worth more than a second or third round pick. He'd definitely be worth a first round pick there.
All right, so you gotta look. This what I look at. I look at the domino effect of everything. All right, so not even like offensive wise, you still gotta sign N'Kobe D. You still gotta sign Reed Blankenship. That's two of your key pieces on defense. Jahan Dotson is a free agent. You still gotta re-sign him. If you don't want to, you don't have to resign Jahan Dotson. But my main priority, you should resign Reed Blankenship, and you should resign N'Kobe Dean. So those are two right there. Dallas Goedert, he had his best season as a Philadelphia Eagle this year. He didn't get hurt. He balled out. He was a big time red zone target. Jalen Phillips, we might have to let him walk because he might be looking for big money. But those four right there, Blankenship, N'Kobe Dean, Dallas Goedert, Jahan Dotson, they should be your priority right now. Priority. Because Jalen Phillips, he going to go, we signed him on some trying to push for a Super Bowl run. We knew we probably couldn't re-sign this dude because he's going to want some paper. He's going to want some paper. So, I don't know, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. The AJ Brown is a domino effect unless you find a dumb team that's gonna take on all that salary cap and all that, and you don't even have to waste that. You don't even have to waste that. And it might be teams out there. You can find a dummy like the Raiders, Cleveland, Titans. You can find dummies
Patriots.
like that.
That's a receiver away. You know what I'm saying?
Like dummies like that, yeah. That's gonna take on that whole salary cap. But the majority, probably like 90 the 85% of the NFL, they're not taking on that AJ Brown contract because it's like, all right, we helping y'all out. Y'all been Super Bowl contenders for the last 3 years. We helping y'all out. We trying to win a Super Bowl.
But that'll be helping too, considering that AJ's so talented. I think it will be a win-win for AJ too, because he will go to a team probably that I imagine will want to pass on the ball and give him the targets he wants, give him the yards he wants. Like I keep telling everybody, it's not that AJ doesn't really want to be here. He just knows sharing the load with Devontae, he's never going to have those super elite numbers. We all as Eagle fans know that AJ is one of the best receivers in the game. It's just AJ in his head doesn't feel like he is because he's not, getting a triple crown, like a Jamar Chase. He's not getting like a Puka Nacua. You know what I'm saying? He's not getting a triple crown, most yards, receptions, and touchdown because he is sharing. Devontae Smith pretty much get 1,000 yards every year as well. So you look at a Devontae's 1,000 yards and you add at least half of them to him, knowing that the other half will get spread it out to other players, if you didn't have a Devontae Smith. And you're looking at least 1,500 to 1,700 yard seasons where you can consider him the best. And I feel like, that's just not here, man. That's just not here. AJ can help get Max Crosby. Yeah, that'd be something good too. I'd love to see that too. Get a Max Crosby over here, what I'm saying, for A.J. Brown trade, 'cause both of them got big salaries. So you kind of like swapping salaries, big salaries with each other. It helps, the Raiders, they don't have no receivers over there. He'll be happy because he get 1 million targets, probably have a new Heisman Trophy winning quarterback over there, Las Vegas. Yeah, I can see that'd be nice. That'd be nice if we do that too. I wouldn't mind doing that either. I wouldn't be opposed to that too. But in terms of the free agents here, Blankenship, I feel like he'll be cheap. We can keep him if we want to, but if there's an upgrade anywhere, whether it's draft, free agency, go ahead and make it, because I don't feel like he's not a guy that you can't trade. The only thing I want him for is because I don't want Cooper DeJean to go down because his best friend's gone. Like they got the Sidon Whites. Like I don't want him to feel like, oh, my best friend's gone. That sucks, and don't have his morale he needs, because he needs to stay at that all-pro caliber type plan that he's been playing. And Kobe Dean, as much as I like him, and how Acho said he was the #1 linebacker on our team last year when he was healthy, which is somewhat true. I do believe that. At the end of the day, he doesn't stay healthy. He's never healthy. He's always getting hurt. So, and we spun a first-round pick on Jahad Dawson, who was going to be the defensive player of the year if N'Kobe Dean didn't get hurt. We took him out of the lineup for like 4 games. But I understand he did, make some bonehead plays here and there, and he was kind of weak in the run game. But when he came back in, when Kobe Dean got hurt that second time, and he came back in, he showed improvement in the run game, which now having a full off season, you would imagine that he would be bigger, faster, stronger, and he can handle that position. And you got to let him play. You spent a first-round pick on him. Why would you re-sign N'Kobe Dean to some big money? And that's the other part about it. N'Kobe Dean is a good linebacker, so teams will probably offer him some really good money. And unless he wants to slide himself, to come back and not be a full-time starter on a team that's good, yes, that drafted you, yes, but you're going to have to get Campbell in the game. You're not going to waste a first-round pick, on a linebacker and have, Bond and N'Kobe Dean, while his first-round pick is just riding pine again for 2 years in a row. So I think that, that's one that we might not get back. And I don't really see, think that he needs to come back. Dallas Goedert, I think they said Donald Smith's out. Likely's, I would like to go see about maybe even getting like a Likely from the Ravens, because he's going to be a free agent. I heard talks of trading for Kyle Pitts, even though I don't know if he fits his scheme so well. We kind of need blocking tight ends as well. That's why I like Likely, because Likely is a blocker and a receiver. A big tight end over there. I would like he can get replaced with a guy like Likely. I was like, see that? If we bring him back, cool. If you want something cheap, but like you said, he just had the best career season of his career. Most touchdowns he's ever had. 11, 12 touchdowns this year. He don't want to get paid for the next 2-3 years. He's getting up there in age. He don't want to get paid for the last 2-3 years. Will the Eagles give him the money to do it? I don't know if I want to, go all in for Dallas Goedert like that. He's another one that's been hurt a lot. He's not reliable, not dependable. Like last year, yes, if you look at the last 5 years, no. But last year, yeah, he was a little bit more healthier last year. And, he is a good tight end once he's in. So, I feel like there'll be a number set. If he goes over that number, then good for you. Have fun. And we have to try to find a replacement, whether it's free agency, trade, or draft. Dobson is one I feel like we have to keep, because I feel like he's earned more targets. He's earned it. When he first got here, not so much. Jalen didn't even look at him until after when they got into the playoffs, he had a couple of catches. He had won that first Super Bowl or whatnot. But it took Jalen a while to even start wanting to throw him the ball, because our offense wasn't set up really to utilize a third receiver. We have so many other weapons ahead of you. With a new scheme, a new offense, I feel like you can get busy with a guy like Jahan Dawson. There should be some games where Jahan's your leading receiver. 4 catches, 120 yards for the game with a touchdown or whatnot, because he is that talented. And when you got an AJ or Devontae, then why the hell can't a guy like him get open? Why isn't he schemed open on, games where, Devontae and AJ ain't having that great of games. There was some this year where neither one of them had good games. So you should be able to scheme at least your third guy open. So I feel like in terms of our receiving core, going to a more spread out offense, we're going to be spreading the ball around a lot more than usual. I think you need to keep a guy like Jahan Dawson, and he's earned to come back again. He rode behind the first round pick right behind, basically, or not even right behind in the game, but just never getting the ball. Like you got to give him something for that, for him to want if he even wants to stick around. You got to give him something for that because he probably have an option to go to another team and be like you said, a number one, number two. And Jalen Phillips is definitely a must stay. I don't care if it's supposed to be a 1 year rental. We need him on this D line. I'm not 100% sold on Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith's been playing. He plays good, but he gets hurt. Jalen Hunt's still young, progressing. You really don't have too much depth behind those guys. I want to see Phillips back. Hell, keep Phillips and go trade, AJ for Crosby, and now you have the most sickest defensive line in the league. You're not really worried about too much then, because this guy's good. He plays some good ball. He plays his best ball. He even knows he plays his best ball under Vic Fangio. So why wouldn't he want to stay? Why wouldn't he want to, keep his career going under the coach at least for one more season? Because that's all we really know for sure is that he's going to be here for one more season, Vic Fangio. So, I don't know. I feel like those two are really the only two that need to come back for sure. But, like I said, who knows who will come back for sure. Like all these guys can get out, be outbid. I know the salary cap went up, but all these guys can, get a bag somewhere else if they don't feel confident about the system moving forward.
All right, so let me cook for a little bit. Put that list back up there, BJ.
Hey, shout out to all you guys in here, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Go subscribe to my boy, One Trey Rock. You know what I'm saying? Dropping that Fire Eagles content. Let's get that list.
Yeah.
No. That was the list. There we
Put
go.
that list back up there. Let me cook for a little bit. Yeah, I'm about to cook for a little bit.
Here we go, baby. Cook it.
All right, so I'm gonna go down the list, and I'm gonna go main priorities and because I see the list right there and why these people so valuable to the team. All right, Reed Blankenship, right? We did draft the rookie from Texas last year that got hurt. We still got Sidney Brown, and we also got the draft. So he's expandable. Reed Blankenship is expandable to me. Nakobe Dean, he was the heart of this defense this year. The heart of this defense this year. I know we got Zach Bond, Jalen Carter, but I hope Nakobe Dean, the one that held it together. Honestly, he held it together. So I feel like he deserves an extension from the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas Goedert, best season of his career. Stay healthy. No, Jalen Phillips is not the main priority. He's not. You know why I say that? Because if you're going to keep Nakobe Dean, Jahan Campbell's best asset is not off-ball linebacker. He's a pass rusher. You could slide him to that DN position. Being though we got Vic Fangio back, you can slide him to that DN position. And break him down. And if Nolan don't give you what you need him to give him, because we did pick him first round, we did pick Jahan Campbell first round, so he has to get on the field this year. He has to. So I'm keeping Nakobe Dean, Zach Vaughn as that 1-2 punch, and I'm sliding Jahan Campbell down to that DN position, that multiple pass rusher type position, and I'm making him like the X factor in his defense, and still keeping Nakobe Dean where he was at. Dallas Goedert, we don't have no tight ends on the roster right now. No tight ends. Calcaterra. What's his name? Granson. We don't have no tight ends on the roster right now. We need Dallas Goedert back unless we're gonna draft or trade for something and pick up a couple in like free agency or the draft. We don't have no sturdy tight ends. Jahan Dotson, honestly, in my opinion, if we keep AJ Brown, he can go because we didn't use him to his capacity this year anyway. Jalen Phillips was an asset. He was an asset to get us where we needed to go, the bump. And he did a great job when he was here. But I'm not paying him a buku load of money to come back. So my top is N'Kobe Dean 1, Dallas Goddard 2, Jahan Dotson for Reed Blankenship for hold on. I'm going N'Kobe Dean 1, Dallas Goddard 2, Reed Blankenship 3, Dotson, and then Jalen Phillips is my look, bro. If we could get you to the number we need to get you to, I'll take you. But look, you came on later in the process, so it's like, all right, bro, go ahead, go out there and get your money. If you ask for a buku load of money, I'm gonna stick it out. I'm gonna draft somebody. I'm gonna use Jahan Dotson as that X. Um, Hunt had a great season this year. I'm using Hunt and then Nolan Smith. Bro, that's a great rotation right there. If you pick up somebody that could come up for them, be like the 3-4, that's cool. But that's my top priorities right there.
Yeah, I feel you on that. If you say if you know, 'cause they played him a little bit at it last year. Campbell at that outside the end spot, and he was all right at it. But for me, I feel like he would have to bulk up, this offseason and not lose his athleticism because our DNs do drop in coverage. So he had to bulk up a little bit to help play the run game a little better and not lose his athleticism. And then maybe you could consider going ahead and letting Phillips walk. But I feel like even if you do slide him down to end to keep a guy like Dean, and I still feel like that's even more reason to keep Phillips as well. So now you have Phillips, uh, Campbell, Hunt, Nolan. At least you got a good, rotation there at the position to the point where it's like now you're not straining yourself to have to go make these crazy trades for like Max Crosby or I even hear like the Miles Garrett trade if they decide they want to trade him over there in Cleveland, because you're going to have to give up some real high equity to get these big caliber type players. And if you're not going to, because you got to realize Phillips is still only 26, 27 years old. He's young still. He had injury history a little bit until he got to the Eagles. He wasn't really hurt last year, so that's a great plus. He shows signs of life again of what people wanted expected him to play like when he was on our team, the back end of the season. It took some time for him to adjust to the defense and fit into where, get in where he fit in. But he did. So at that point, it's like, why not keep it going at least for another year? I feel like Phillips, if he can go get a long-term contract somewhere that's going to pay him the bag, I won't be mad at him for doing it. But for just his career's sake, Vic Fangio's only stand for one more year. Sign another 1-year deal with the Eagles, another proven year and chance to win the Super Bowl and have the all off season to, adapt into this defense. You're not learning nothing new. You're coming back even stronger the next year. And you build the depth on that D line that we need by bringing you back. And you're going to take a little less because the Eagles will have that leverage, not being healthy up until this year. You had a good season, but it wasn't no super season. Not like he came in and had 12 sacks or something, crazy number like that. He just played really good, defense for our team. So if he had more numbers, I'd probably worry about it a little bit more. But since the numbers aren't really there, they'd be like, oh, you're the best D lineman in the league, But who knows? Milt Williams wasn't the best, and he got the most money ever from a franchise. So you never know how desperate a team is, how much they want to go after a guy.
Yeah, but with Phillips is more of a like you got to think about personal game because the dude had a couple injuries. He had his best season probably like the year before. So it's like he thinking about long term game. Honestly, he don't got no loyalty to the Philadelphia Eagles. No loyalty at all. I mean, he probably like a couple dudes in the camp and all that, but he don't have no loyalty to them. So it's like he wasn't a homegrown Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis type dude. So at the end of the day, he trying to protect his assets and his family. So you never know when that next injury is gonna come. So he probably might be looking for that big bag. Blankenship, he was a unrestricted free agent picked up off the street, honestly. So Blankenship gonna be looking for that bag too. You gotta understand that the layout of it. You gotta
That
understand
being
the layout of
said,
it.
that being said, two questions. One, who do you think was a bigger loss for the Eagles, Stoutland or Parker on the defensive side of the ball? You know, our secondary coach that went to Dallas. That's part A. And part B, do you think a Dean Blankenship type player would say, okay, I can go get my bag in Dallas and play with a coach I already know how to play with. You know what I'm saying? Like Reed already know the system if he goes over there where Parker's at, and the Dallas Cowboys do need a middle linebacker. So, if the Eagles are trying to play, oh, you're going to be rotating in all season, Dean might say, okay, I want to be the guy and go play and be the guy in Dallas. So, which coordinator do you think was the biggest loss, and do you think they're going to be Parker's will be poaching in these free agents from the Eagles?
It's always gonna be Stoutland to me. It's always gonna be Stoutland to me because
Two
Stoutland came
all
in.
pros for Parker though. He just made your first and second round pick all pros this year. I don't even think we ever had that before.
But you gotta understand the timeline of it. Chip Kelly brought in Stoutland. He been there since the Chip Kelly era. He raised Lane Johnson, Jared Mailata. He turned Jared Mailata into a football player. He was a
Yeah,
rugby player. Landon Dickerson,
right there.
all this about. He had more impact. He had more impact on the team than the other guy ever had. Look, Jason Peters. Well, Jason Peters always was polished. Lane Johnson. He turned Lane Johnson into something. Jared Mailata, Jason Kelsey was there before him. Brandon Brooks. Brandon Brooks was coming off two major injuries before we won that Super Bowl. Big V. Big V got paid. He got paid off of Jeff Stoutland. Evan Memphis, he got paid off of Jeff Stoutland. Alvin Sayamalu, paid off of Jeff Stoutland. Wisniewski, he went to Kansas City. He had a great career. Ty Hermans. Ty Hermans was terrible. We hated Ty Hermans in Philadelphia before Stoutland. Herbig was a roundabout backup. Landon Dickerson, he was a great player before he got here, but Stoutland elevated. Look at this list, BJ. I don't even gotta go down the whole line. Look at this. Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton was on his way out the league before he got to Stoutland, and he got paid. With
Now back on his way out the league.
He got paid with it. It don't matter. He protected his assets and his family, and he got paid with the Chargers big time. Fred Johnson, he back in Philly. Where he was at? He went to Jacksonville. He said, "Oh no, I gotta get back with Stoutland. He back to Philly." Bro, he had more impact on these dudes than anybody in the league. Honestly, BJ. Now
But
come
you
on,
got,
bro. You're a
which
football guy, BJ.
I get that too, but I do can see, Parker did. We were always talking about people developing our cornerbacks and our secondary. I think Parker's the only coach we've ever had to develop DBs that we've ever had.
Who did he develop though? Coop came in great. Quinion came in great. Who did he develop?
Blankenship, Makuba came in strong, and yeah, even though
Makuba was trash this year.
Coop
Makuba
and
was trash this year, bro. He was
huh?
trash this year, bro. Makuba was trash this year. He was
I
getting
was
beat.
trash.
He was getting beat like an African drum in coverage. Like an African drum.
But he led our team in interceptions too. He's a ball hawk. He made some rookie mistakes, yeah, but he's a ball hawk. And then the whole point, like, yeah, Cooper
Opportunist more than the ball hawk.
and
Opportunist more than the
and
ball hawk.
and Cooper and Q, yeah, they were good. Yeah, everybody knew they were gonna be ballers, but even they admit like they wouldn't be that good without him. You know what I'm saying? Like he helped them out a lot there. And I think the other side is that too. They're so great too because you got to go against AJ and Smitty all the time. So that's two great receivers to help polish you up. But You know,
And now we're making sense. Now we making sense. Yeah, they came in great. Cooper DeJean came in great. Quayon Mitchell came in great. So is that coaching or is that them?
I guess we'll see because he's a defensive coordinator. He got a defensive coordinator job for him. You know, we're gonna see what happens with it. You know, salute to you, my guy. Do you think Stalin coaches this year, or do you think he's gonna take the year off? And you know, 'cause I really think he should even. You know, Alabama needs some help. You know, their football team needs some help out there. Maybe you go revisit that Alabama days because if the coach sucks again this year, you could be the next head coach to be Stalin. You know, at Alabama as the next coach. So I think he might reconsider that. 'Cause I think that what was it, a year or two ago, right? He was actually considering going back to Bama. Remember? And he was real close to going back with Nick Saban, but I think what Nick left or whatnot, and he ended up staying with the Eagles. So maybe this is that transition over to Alabama where he can become like a head coach and get respected the way he needs to before it's too late. So man, it's gonna be a fun offseason. Do you think, you know, like if you're drafting and free agency, because that's obviously gonna, you know, free agents gonna tell what we're gonna do in the draft. But looking at this roster, besides offensive lineman, you know, what is, you know, as it's constructed right now, what will be your first, you know, three positions, you know, in the draft or free agency with like big time free agents, not like just a fit the mold type free agent. You know, what will be your biggest three positions?
First of all, I'm hitting up AJ Brown camp once the combine and all that come around. Bro, what you doing? You in? You out?
Yeah.
That's going to determine what we do in this hope because we don't want that cap to take up everything.
Yeah.
We already got a solid team, so we get right with AJ Brown. After that, I'm going secondary pass rush. Boom. I'm cool with that. Offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. We got to get at least three sturdy offensive linemen in this situation because we don't know the future of Landon Dickerson, Jurgens, Lane Johnson. We got to get these dudes right. And going into free agency, trying to get an offensive lineman is going to be expensive as heck. So, yeah, no. I feel like he about to play. He about to play this right, man. I trust the dude. The last 3 years, I trusted this dude to do what he do. So, and we got a boatload of picks in this draft this year. So, my top priority three picks is offensive line. We got to go secondary, even if they don't touch the field as much as we want them to, because we got to keep that pipeline alive. And defensive line. You can't go wrong with defensive line.
Yeah. I say free agency from the way it's constructed right now. I think you need to go. I want to go free agency for the defensive end and safety. You know, I think we got enough young cats on this football team. If you want to play the let them develop game, you got guys like Andre Sam who plays some football with us. You know, like you say, you still got Sidney Brown, you know, on a roster right now. So it's like if you're gonna play that, go get, you know, a guy that you think can start, you know, and give really high competition at the safety spot. You know, even if you don't bring back Blankenship, or even if you do bring back Blankenship, go get you a nice guy, a nice safety over there. And then I want you to go pick up, you know, a defensive end. You know, a defensive end that's, you know, like I said, not a young guy, a bona fide one. Whether it's a trade for Crosby, you know, or whether it's just a really good, you know, free agent. You know, I don't know. I'm not sure on the list. I have to go check that out, see what the defensive ends on that list. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a couple of them. There's a couple of pass rushers every year that's on the free agent list. So, you know, if you don't get Phillips back, which I think that should be the move there, just go ahead and get your free agent defensive end and have Phillips come back. I think he'd be cheaper than trying to go after a Crosby or one of these big cats you got to make a trade for because once they get here, they're going to be worth too much. And then the draft comp, and, you know, I think we got 4 in the top 100. So first round pick lineman, you know, get back to that because I think the last couple of years we've been going defense. So, and our defense has gotten a lot better because of it. But it's time to go focus back on what we started on, and that's offensive line. Go get yourself an offensive lineman or two, maybe one in the first, because we got two in the third. So one in the first, one in the third, with those middle two, one being tight end, and the other one being another linebacker. You never can have too many linebackers out because the defensive line, if you keep Phillips, it's going to be pretty decent there. You can get another defensive lineman like project piece, in a fourth round, something like that. You know what I'm saying? That you can come throw in the mix with these guys, see what they can do. But other than that, like I think that should be the priority though. Get Phillips back, get a safety, then leave the receiver, offensive line, tight end type thing for the draft. Go pick up some of these guys, these nice young bucks. Because you did it on the defense side. You got youth and younger on the defense side. Now we're one of the youngest defenses, but one of the best defenses. So kind of like recreate your offense that way. Let's go get an offensive lineman that's a stud in that first round. Maybe one get pushed down the board, whether it's at guard or tackle, and then go get yourself a tight end. You might not be able to get the guy from Oregon who I want, unless he drops. If he drops in that first round to the Eagles pick, then you go get that motherfucker ASAP. You go get him. He's a big boy, big physical tight end. That can help this offense out right immediately, and he can let Dallas Goedert go. But it's gonna be a fun off season, man. Nevertheless, before we get out there here, I wanted to go over a couple other things. What was left on the docket here tonight? Oh, a question, right? I got a couple questions for you, Trey. This is what I see. It says refs should have to do press conferences at the end of the game. How do you feel about this? When a ref makes a shitty call at the end of the game, do you think that they should have to, do a press conference? Does it have to be like out in the open? And I asked this before, and they said they were worried about ref safety or whatnot. But even if it's in their locker room or something, should he have to come on there, and explain the horrible calls that they make?
All right, so with me, y'all finding players left and right, left and right, left and right, left and right. I feel like when y'all go to that offense, and it's gonna make the refs be a little better, y'all should start finding these dudes, finding the refs, because it's a lot of terrible calls and blatantly terrible calls that we see. Y'all should start finding these dudes. Oh, you made that call? You the white hat. I'm finding you. You made this call? I'm finding you. Start finding them like y'all finding the players. And it's going to make it better. Honestly, because there's going to be a lot of calls that they ain't even going to want to call because they know that's going to affect their money. No, they should start finding them like they're finding the players, in my opinion.
What about the press conference part?
Nah, you don't got to do no press conference. No, we're going to find you. We're going to go back. We're gonna run them tapes back, and we're gonna find you. You don't gotta do no press. What do we want to talk to a ref for? There's no reason for a ref to have a press.
Accountability.
No, find them. Find them.
I do like to find them though. That'll be good too.
Find them so they can stop being on bullcrap, bro. Because there's a lot of games that refs affected this year.
Yeah.
A lot of games.
Start
finding them, taking their money, charging them to the game. Yeah, no, find them dudes, bro. I don't need to hear from you. I don't need to hear from no goddamn ref. Find them.
Facts. I like it. Trayvon Diggs got released from the Packers. Do you think he can come in and solidify the CB2 spot for the Eagles? And would you make that move?
If he's healthy in his head on the right and in the right space, I feel like he can be a great aspect. I feel like Adoree Jackson down that stretch, he played great. He played great in my opinion, and he's not going to be here next year. So if we could bring in a 1 to 2 year rental like Trayvon Diggs, I feel like he'd be great. But you gotta find out where this dude head at, bro. Honestly, because some dudes they move, they shift, and they not really that invested in football no more. So you figure out where this dude head at, and if his head on straight, I'll bring Trayvon Diggs in for sure.
Okay. Tua was released from the Miami Dolphins. Is it time to trade Tanner McKee while he's still hot? And maybe bring in a veteran like Tua? Or do you think that whole dynamic wouldn't work because of the history they have?
I don't feel like the dynamic wouldn't work because of the history they have. I just feel like Tua Cook, like what you bringing Tua in for? Now, Tanner McKee, yeah, you can let some assets go for him because he wanted to be a starter, and he's never going to be a starter in Philly while Jalen here. So, I feel like honestly, last year they should have, if they could have swung a trade with New Orleans, they should have traded Tanner McKee to New Orleans. But now if somebody want him, I'm willing to give him up, man. You draft a quarterback, pick up a veteran, something like that.
But
And
you don't think Tua should be that veteran?
no, I don't want like what we need Tua here for?
To be the backup.
Like, bro,
If Jalen go down, running the football.
no. We don't need Tua here, man. Because Tua not even no running quarterback. He's not no running quarterback, and he failed miserably in Miami, and they had one of the best offensive coordinators, that Mike McDaniels, that people say one of the best offensive coordinators, and he couldn't make nothing shake with Tua. So it's like, what we need you here for? What
Tua
we need you here for?
help though, for real. That's the number one problem. He has some good passing seasons, but he just help. So now you come to a place where you're not the starter no more. But if we need you, I think Tua can go in, maybe play a game or two, and he's a former starter, so play at a high level. If you get something good, maybe.
I think we should draft a quarterback with like a similar skill set to Jalen Hurts, so it won't change the offense too much.
What
Like a
about
running
Malik Willis? Trade McKee and pick up Malik Willis to be backup quarterback if he doesn't get a starter's job somewhere.
I think Malik Willis trying to be a starter, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
But if he doesn't get a starting opportunity somewhere, he is from
got-
Green Bay. He can help, with the offense because he knows the offense. Obviously, he worked with Mannion. If he doesn't get a starting gig, which I think he might, because I heard a couple of places talking about picking him up. But if he doesn't get a starting gig, do you think, you get a Malik Willis to back him up and trade him a key?
Honestly, I feel like Malik Willis. I feel like the Titans gave up on him too fast.
Yeah.
Just like they're gonna give up on Cam Ward. They gave up on him too fast. They should have gave him a chance to grow because he did a lot of great things in Green Bay. They should have gave him a chance to grow. Malik Willis, he right now his stock is high. He's not coming to Philly because he's trying to get a starting job, and I don't blame him. He played well enough to be a starter. No, we're not trading for Shador. We are not. No.
Trade for Shador not leaving out. He got a chance to be the starter.
Why? Shador is going to start in Cleveland this year. There's no point of trading for him. There's no point.
What about this one? Also trying to get Romeo Dobbs. He's going to be a free agent. Ooh. Now, whoa. Thinking about that, right? Dobbs is a good receiver. He's a good receiver. So now you're telling me if you traded AJ, if you kept
Dobbs is a quarterback.
If you kept, listen, you trade AJ, get something good for AJ, and then you keep Devontae and you re-sign Dotson, and then you sign Dobbs, and then you got Cooper. Now that would be a nice foursome receiving core.
No.
You said no.
Yeah, no. I'm not even gonna lie. Our best bet is to draft receivers under these dudes, Devontae Smith, and we keep AJ, Jahan Dotson. Draft them so they could grow. We got, like I said, we got Johnny Wilson coming back. Off an injury. That was one of our best blocking receivers, our big body receivers. We have Cooper. That's 5 right there. That's five right there. Devontae Smith, AJ, Jahan Dotson, um, Cooper, Johnny Wilson. That's five right there. That's a solid receiving core. No,
Yeah.
bringing in Shador is going to be too much. Be anxious. We don't need that right now. We just had it last year. We don't need Shador right now.
No, I just
Hey,
don't think.
you think Shador coming over here to be a backup? He trying to start where he at.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Sure, it's not happening for a backup quarterback. That's for sure. That's for sure. Matt Jones from the Niners,
No, no, he don't
Shanahan
fit.
system.
It's
Niners don't
cool.
really want to let him
He
go.
don't fit the scheme though. He don't fit the scheme. He's not a running quarterback. Just like Tanner McKee wasn't a running quarterback. He's not a running quarterback. We need somebody to sit behind Jalen that can also use his legs and his arm. So it don't mess the offense up. It like, bro, if we put him there, it's gonna be unseemly, but it's not gonna be Jalen, but it's gonna be kind of unseemly. So yeah, no, we need one of those quarterbacks that came from probably one of them HBCU schools to sit behind Jalen that can run and throw the football. That's going to like use his legs effectively.
Mm.
I know that Dotson is a free agent. I don't think he should. If I'm Dotson, I'm not resigning here. I'm not resigning here.
From the way
It's
you
going to take.
treated me the last couple of offers, I'm not resigning here. So I'm not gonna
I'm
get the
not
ball.
resigning here. Yeah, at all. Not resigning here.
But I feel like if you got a chance to be a starter somewhere, yes, go do it. But if you don't have a chance to be a number one or number two, I'll resign and check out the new offense and see. Do another 1 year deal, prove a deal with the Eagles because at least you know you're going back to a good team. You know, the scheme should set up for more receptions to come your way with a new scheme. So that's what I say about that
Yeah,
one.
hopefully. But we can't live off hopefully because, like I said, Jahan Dotson is a number one, number two on any other football team. So if I'm Jahan Dotson, I'm not coming back here. Y'all treated me wrong the last 2 years. The last 2 years, I'm not coming
Yeah,
back
because
here.
I think, damn, like, you threw me the ball a total of 14 times in 2 years, and I'm a number one pick. See, that's the reason why I feel like if you change the system, it's gonna be faster more. You should try to hook him up and bring him back and give him some love because
Nah, y'all should get younger receivers that's gonna fit into the scheme because John Dotson, bro, he's a veteran. He came from Washington. He was the number one at Washington. He he
man,
he,
Brad,
he
I don't
came all
like
the way
you
down.
today. I don't.
He really digressed all the way down to like the number 4 or 5 is option. And I'm not staying here. I'm going somewhere where they gonna get me the football. Y'all tripping. I'm a wide receiver. I have an ego just like everybody else.
Facts. That our problem is too many big names. We need hungry dogs. Facts. Like you said, new blood. They don't have the name yet. Let them earn their name. Be hungry dogs on this football team and go earn it. Like kind of like Cooper does when he was in there. And yeah, I like it too. Yeah, shout out to David Lewis and Name Brand because you guys been lighting up the chat today, man. Salute to you guys. I will be giving you guys some ranches, man. I love the support, guys. Uh, we've been doing good all night. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Trying to keep this Eagles content going all off season. So, any final words, Trey? I think we went through everything, my guy. It's good seeing you again. Give the Eagle fans the final words, my guy.
My final words is look, bro. BJ, you've been a football fan for forever. Y'all know how this off season go, man. It be tricky, it be all over the place. So um we gotta kinda like prospect through this and football gonna be back soon as y'all like sooner than y'all think it is. I trust Howie Roseman. I trust my guys. I trust my guys up top. They gonna get us where we need to get. Um, I'm optimistic with this young blood that's coming in, and look, bro, like, like we can sit here and debate and argue about what's gonna go on, but at the end of the day, we ain't gonna see it until we see it. So, I mean, like I said, I'm optimistic, man. It's your boy One Tree Rock. Out there.
Hell yeah. Like my final words is hey, we wanted it, Philly. We wanted a new offense. And there's gonna be good and bad that comes with wanting something new and fresh. We missed out on one of the best coaches of all time because of it. But, we have some new perspective that we're hoping that we can see in this offense. So, like you said, we got to sit back, wait, see what happens in free agency, the draft. Our main thing, see what happens with AJ and some of these big free agents on this team. I'm happy the salary cap did go up, give Howie a little bit more wiggle room to work his magic. But salary cap going up also means contract goes up as well. We got some big guys we're going to have to re-sign. If Jordan Davis have another big year, he's on the roster this year. But, we got to re-sign him. Jalen Carter's coming up for a re-sign. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. So we got some big ballers in the near future, even though every year it should go up by $25 million. But like I said, contracts will be going up. We're going to see what happens this offseason, man. I think, the Eagles are going all in on being different. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they're going all in on being different. It can be, the best move in the world. It can be the shittiest move in the world where obviously look even worse. Like the floor can look like it did last year, but worse because you're trying too much stuff and now you got a bunch of more turnovers. Or it can be, sky's the limit and we finally get the offense ready to show up turf type thing. Or we can just be somewhere in the middle. Like I said, you don't need a number one offense to win a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? The only thing, I would like to see them do is continue to, keep that ball security a little bit in mind with a Jalen Hurts because that does help win football games. Look at Seattle winning Super Bowl, being very conservative, but, attacking when you can attack type style to win that Super Bowl. So, we got a long off season, guys. It just started. We definitely gonna keep all the content rolling. I'll give my boy One Trade Rock a hand, man. Definitely want to get him back on the show some more. We gotta do some more collabs, man. It was good. It's been a while, and like I always say at the end of my videos, fly Eagles fly, and go Birds. We out. Peace.
How about our quarterback? How about our quarterback? Your quarterback. He's a stud. He is a stud. I knew he was gonna play that way. I knew it. Don't doubt him. All he does
I'm
is
bird
win.
game 31 and I'm fly like an eagle. Hit him low, hit him high like the Eagles. Catch me on a podcast and we only talking Eagles. Dallas still sucks and ain't nothing like